A week ago, I pronounced this team dead, but now I think they're super duper dead.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Paddock, a creepingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Paddock. You can follow the show at Locked On Ranger. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about this truly terrible week in Kansas City, the Rangers' hopes being lost and adding some injury to the insult of this week. Before we get into all of that, this episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 of any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. My apologies for missing the last couple of days. I'm still fighting through illness, trying my best to stay alive, unlike the Rangers' playoff hopes after this week. It has been just a truly brutal, abysmal week for the Texas Rangers. Heck, it's two and a half weeks. Honestly, it's been rough in the entire month of August. This team decided to go all in for it in August ahead of the trade deadline. I mean, as they should have. They were about, a game and a half out of that final wild card spot. They were playing well. They were scoring runs. They had a 16-9 month of July. And since then, they've gone 6-13 in the month of August. And it's been awful, including these games losing to the Kansas City Royals, who the Rangers were ahead of in the standings, I believe, at least heading into Toronto, heading into this road trip, which did not go the Rangers' way by any means. I mean, the only good part of this road trip, well, 2 parts, really. I mean, that Blue Jays win on Sunday to keep themselves from getting swept by Toronto, and then what looked like it might be a series salvaging comeback win on Wednesday night. I mean, this team went down early in a bullpen game because they did not have Jacob deGrom for the first time in a start this season. And then they come back and they squander a bunch of chances. And then in the 9th inning, they drop those 3 runs in a tie game and end up finishing off the Royals. And then look like maybe they got a chance to salvage a split in what has been a truly abysmal series. But alas, they do not, with Patrick Corbin on the hill, just getting wrecked for the 5th time in a row and squandering yet again a whole bunch of chances with runners in scoring position. 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position in that game. And the Rangers now fall to 33-66. They are now 5.5 games out of the final wildcard spot, held by the Seattle Mariners, who have been an absolute tailspin as of late. It's not like any of these teams have really been on it as of late. I mean, the Guardians, they kind of got hot a little bit right after the break, but they've fallen off. They're 3-7 in their last 10, same as the Rangers. The Mariners are 3-7 in their last 10. They're riding a 5-game losing streak. The Astros had a 26 inning scoreless streak this week. They're 4-6 in their last 10. The Mariners are just 2 games out of that AL West lead. Boston Red Sox, they're 4-6 in their last 10. But the steaming Kansas City Royals have just been on an absolute heater, 8-2 in their last 10 games. And if I were a bet man, I would think they would get one of these final wild card spots. The Mariners just seem to always crumble and crackle in the month of August. And the Rangers, had they just not shot themselves in the foot, because these were a lot of winnable games, and not all of it was on the offense like it had been for the vast majority of this year, it still wasn't quite enough. I mean, getting 4 runs has been the magic number that the Rangers have needed, at least in the first half of the season, to get a win. And they weren't able to do that in the finale of this series. They weren't able to even get up to 3 runs in the Tuesday game of this series. They poured on a whopping 6 in that Wednesday game. But this team just does not have it. They have not had it all year. They were so close to finding it, and just one of the most poorly timed winning streaks for a team named the Texas Rangers to have in the last, I don't know, 25 years. Had this team just continued being bad in July, they would have been sellers. They would have restocked their farm system. They would have gotten some pretty decent pieces for a lot of guys who are having good seasons. They would have been able to sell high on, a guy like Patrick Corbin, who has completely fallen back down to earth since then. They would have been able to sell high on guys like Hobie Milner or Sean Armstrong or Jacob Webb, possibly Chris Martin, possibly. I mean, maybe they would have even gotten something from John Gray. I don't know if they would have at that point. But they wouldn't have made trades for guys like Merrill Kelly. They wouldn't have made trades for guys like Phil Maton or for Danny Coulomb, all of which have been pretty thoroughly underwhelming outside of a good couple of moments for each of them. I mean, Merrill Kelly was not to blame for the loss in this one. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. In 6 innings, he only allowed a couple of runs, both of them on solo homers. Maybe he could have gone deeper into this game, and that would have, kept the bullpen from completely imploding. Hobie Miller coming on and not getting a single out in the first 3 batters that he faced. Cole Winn having a meltdown, and then he ends up on the IL as well. As right as soon as Cole Winn was starting to look like a guy who was going to be in that tree of trust, he lands on the 15-day IL. Really, really unfortunate for him because, I mean, he had been doing so incredibly well. Those 2 runs that he gave up in that game were the only runs that he'd given up in his last 7 games. Those were the only 2 runs he'd given up in 9 innings. I mean, he has just found a way to work out of trouble and be a reliable reliever in the last couple of weeks or so, while everybody else in this bullpen has just completely fallen off a cliff. I mean, whether it's Robert Garcia's massive implosion, whether it's the occasional Danny Coulomb bad outing, heck, even Hobie Milner having a couple of bad outings here and there. I mean, Sean Armstrong feels like the only one who wasn't just completely melted down in these last couple of weeks where the bullpen has just completely failed the Texas Rangers. God, what they would give for a healthy Chris Martin. That calf injury, I mean, that's going to be one of the things we look back on this season and think, if they'd had just one more reliable reliever you could have trusted, maybe they lose a few fewer of these games. I mean, there have been a lot of very winnable games that the Rangers just have not been able to finish off, like that game against the Diamondbacks on the 13th, like the game against the Diamondbacks on the 12th, heck, like that game against the Blue Jays on that Friday game. I mean, no one reliever was going to save them from getting their brains beaten in when Patrick Corbin and John Gray combined to have their 2 worst days of the season in that Saturday game. But I mean, all of these close 1, 2, 3-run losses in the span of a week. I mean, a 1-run loss to start this series, a 3-run loss to get the second one, and then a 2-run loss in this finale where, had they had a little bit more help from their bullpen, things might have gone a different way. But alas, they have not gone a different way. They have gone absolutely in the tank. And while they're not mathematically out of it, my goodness, it feels like they have not been further from a playoff spot all season long. This show is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. It's time to fuel up and turn it on with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavor shot brings back the taste of an iconic golf course favorite to the non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the golf course or just need a little extra power to push you through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you'll love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down a bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun for everyone. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes Masters Tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. Shout out to the Everydayers for making Locked On Ranger first listen every single day. On Monday's show, I'll be back, hopefully feeling better than ever. Maybe talking about some good baseball happening this weekend against the Cleveland Guardians. And even if the baseball is bad, the Rangers do have some good news coming out this weekend because this week was not full of good news whatsoever. In a couple hours from now, maybe about an hour as this episode is releasing, the unveiling of the Adrian Beltree statue outside of Globe Life Field. That is something that no crappy season can take away from the Texas Rangers, is celebrating the memory of Adrian Beltree. For my money, the greatest third baseman in the history of the sport, the funnest baseball player I think I've ever watched or will ever watch. He is getting his own statue unveiled before this Friday game. And then before the Saturday game, there will be a ceremony. Adrian Beltree will be in attendance and be talking about what it's like to be memorialized with this statue. I think he is absolutely one of those players who are incredibly deserving of a statue outside of Globe Life Field. And I bet there is at least one player on this current Texas Ranger team who will end up with a statue as well. And I'm thinking that's Cory Seager. I mean, Cory Seager has just been absolutely on a heater as of late, and it still might end up being too late to save this Rangers squad. But man, he is trying his darndest. I mean, the season that he's having so far, he's only played in 96 games so far this year, and he has a 5.6 baseball reference WAR. 5.6 in 96 games. That is a 162 game pace of what, an 8-9 win season. This guy has just been so incredibly good. He's already got 19 home runs. And you look at what he's done in the last 28 days. He's got 4 home runs in that span. You look at what he's done in the last week or so. He's got a couple of home runs in the last 7 games, 3 doubles as well, a 1137 OPS in that span while he's hitting 370. I mean, this guy has just been carrying this offense all season long, and there's just only so much he could do. I mean, you just look at what he's done in a Texas Rangers uniform. He's already got a higher baseball reference WAR in 4 seasons with the Texas Rangers than he did in 7 years with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, part of that is because there were a couple of seasons that he just either did not play all that much. He only played 27 games in his first taste of the big leagues in 2015. He only played 52 games in that COVID-shortened season in 2020. And then in 2018, he only played 26 games that year while dealing with injuries. But it's still 489 games with the Texas Rangers and 636 with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He has been even better with the Texas Rangers than he has been with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, a lot of that is because of his defense. His defense has just been truly incredible this year. Not just, he's pretty decent. He's a big guy. You don't expect him to be good, but he's, better than you expect for a guy who's that big. No, he has been truly one of the best defensive shortstops in all of Major League Baseball while also being one of the best hitters. Now, there's a fun little fact. He's got exactly the same OPS with the Dodgers and with the Rangers. The slugging percentage is a little bit higher with the Rangers at 516, but an 870 OPS with the Dodgers and an 870 OPS with the Texas Rangers. All of that while playing an excellent shortstop, being a leader on this team, and being an absolute force in the postseason. I mean, that's one of those things where you got to just sit back, and no matter how bad the baseball is right now, you got to find things, even in a lost season, even in an incredibly frustrating season, which this definitely is. Do not let that take away. This has been an incredibly infuriating season. But you got to find reasons if you're going to be an everyday, or if you're going to watch baseball every day, if you're going to be obsessed with the sport, like I'm sure most of you are, if you're listening to me on half a voice talk about a series that was just absolutely from the pits of the fiery hells. Like there's no way that you're not obsessed with baseball. And you just got to remind yourself that, hey, there are some beautiful moments out there. There are some nice things to be excited about. Seeing Wyatt Langford have himself an incredible day in that 6-3 win in the leadoff spot. Those are the kind of things that you look at down the stretch. But the Rangers got some bad news in the final game of this series. Both Evan Carter and Marcus Semien had to be taken out of this game. Marcus Semien, after an incredible throw, truly an exceptional throw, and a really great play by who else but Josh Smith out there in right field, gunning down a base runner, trying to take third on an easy double. And Marcus Semien hits the relay throw, just a perfect relay throw. And he ends up coming out of the game right after that. It was a little confusing because it didn't look like he had strained his shoulder or his arm or his elbow or anything on that throw. And it turns out it was because of a foul ball that he hit right off the top of his foot in the inning earlier. Zeke Duran came in and had a multi-hit day in his stead. The x-rays were negative, so there's no broken foot or anything, but just the tendon and stuff on the top of Marcus Semien's foot. Said he felt like knives in every single step that he took, which, it's got to be something incredibly bad for Marcus Semien to be taken out of a game. And that seems to be the case. We'll go back and he'll be back in Texas, and the Rangers will x-ray him. We'll see exactly how much time he ends up missing. Hopefully no IL stint. This would be his first IL stint as a member of the Texas Rangers. He has missed I think 12 games of the 500 and something plus that he's played with the Rangers since he signed back before that 2022 season. The guy has just been the absolute picture of durability. And it'll be a huge loss for the Rangers towards the end of the season to not have Marcus Semien in there. I mean, you already know that the season is pretty much cooked, but he is going to try everything he can to get back out there and to be the best version of Marcus Semien that he can possibly be. I mean, the offense this year has been down a smidge. I mean, in 95 OPS plus, not really what you're looking for, but still providing that exceptional defense out there at second base. Like on that play I just mentioned on the perfect relay throw, he's been a little bit more active on the bases this year, 11 times stealing base with only one time caught stealing so far this season, 15 bombs, 16 doubles so far on the season. He might end up getting 220 bombs on the year if he can kind of pick it up over the last month and a half, not even month and a half left at this point. But that is a worrying development, as is Evan Carter getting hit in the wrist by a left-handed pitcher, getting in there in a clutch situation against lefty and finding a way to reach base. But it did not look good. He stayed in the game immediately after dealing with some, having some adrenaline. He got hit in the wrist, the right wrist. So he dealt with a little bit of tension after that. The x-rays have not been released, hoping that it is nothing broken, because Evan Carter is another one of those young players who is finally looking like he's hitting his stride. I mean, he is getting out there. He has not been dealing with any back stuff for a couple weeks, and his offense has looked really, really good. I mean, this lineup is just so much different with Evan Carter as a part of it. And this is another guy who, at a small sample size, has put up an incredibly productive season. I mean, he's played in 63 games so far this year and has a 2.0 baseball reference for you. You average that out over 160 games. That's what, a 4-5 win season from a guy who is still just 22 years old. These are the kind of things that you're watching for down the stretch. These are the kind of things you watch in a season where you're not making the postseason. You look like, okay, who is going to be a part of the next good playoff Rangers team? It should have been this year. It should have been all of these guys, but who is going to be making that leap? Who is going to be, propelling this team forward in 2026? I mean, who is going to be taking that next step and just bringing it that much more? Because the Rangers just needed a little bit more from their offense this year. I mean, they really have. You go down and look at the OPS plus now. I mean, the offense is kind of even out a little bit over the last couple of months, basically since the middle of June or so, maybe even early parts of June. This offense has been, a little bit better than league average. They were abysmal in terms of scoring runs with runners in scoring position. I mean, hitting the ball over the fence. They were abysmal at everything for the first 2 months of the season. But now you look at their OPS plus as a team, where 100 is league average. They're at 98. That's about what we were asking for the first parts of this season. And had they had been that all year long, maybe this team is closer to what their expected wins-loss record should be. Because we've been saying all year long, man, if this is just a normal bad offense, this team would have so many wins banked, because they had so many games early on this season where the opponents couldn't score anything against this pitching staff, and they haven't been able to do that. They are 63 and 66 at this point. They are not their expected wins-loss record of 70 and 59. If everybody had their expected wins-loss record, the Rangers would be atop the AL West by a pretty comfortable margin at this point. About 4 games they would be if they had the same wins-loss record as their expected wins-loss record. But the offense is needing to be even better, because this pitching staff is having some downturns, is having some issues, not just in the bullpen, but unfortunately an issue with their ace. We're talking about that and more right after this. Shout out to the Everydayers being Locked On Rangers, your first listen every single day. After every single game, Jeff Biggs is with you with a Locked On Rangers postcast. Shout out to Jeff for holding it down this week while I have been dealing with this issue with my sickness, but it is in your Locked On Rangers podcast feeds on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Now, the Rangers pitching, I didn't think it was going to hold up like this all year long, but for the most part, it has. I mean, Jacob deGrom has been about as Jacob deGrom as you could expect. Nathan Eovaldi has been a million times better than we possibly expected, and I think we all expected him to be pretty darn good. Patrick Corbin, even with a 4.6 ERA, even with a -5 baseball reference war at this point, 127 innings, 123 innings is, I think, a lot more than anyone expected him to give the Raiders. And not to mention what Tyler Mahle was able to do in the first half of this year. 14 starts, a 2.34 ERA in 77 innings. He was incredible this year. And now it was a bit of a rocky road for both the rookies in Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker. Leiter was able to kind of right the ship a little bit more than Rocker. I think also Rocker had a lot more innings limits. He's been sent down to the minor leagues. He skipped his most recent start. But according to everything that I've heard about that, it is more just kind of keeping those innings limits intact. And speaking of innings limits, I mean, Kumar Rocker is coming off of Tommy John surgery, and so was Jacob deGrom. I mean, he was back and fully healthy at the end of last year, a normal offseason for the first time as a member of the Texas Rangers. And so far this year, until Wednesday, he had not missed a single start all season long, which is more than you can say for Nathan Eovaldi, for Jack Leiter, for Tyler Mahle, for Kumar Rocker, heck, even for Patrick Corbin. He had made as many starts as all of those guys. Heck, he had made more starts to that point than any of those guys. But he's dealing with some shoulder soreness, and the Rangers went back, sent him back to Dallas, make sure that everything is okay on the up and up. There's no structural damage there, just a little bit of soreness, which you would expect for a guy who has not pitched more than 90 innings since 2021. 92 innings that year. The year after was 64 and a third innings, 30 and a third innings with the Rangers in 2023, 10 and 2/3 innings at the big league level in 2024, plus another, 5-10 in minor league rehab starts in 2024. And this year, 24 starts, 140 and a third innings. He has not gotten close to that since 2019. That is more than half a decade ago. Now, part of that's because 2020, it was a shortened season. He made all those starts there, 68 innings, 12 starts in a 60-game season. Should have won his third straight Cy Young, but alas, I digress. 15 starts in 2021, and really the back half that he missed the vast majority of the back half of that season. Truly one of the most miraculous, spectacular season we've ever seen from a pitcher, even though it was only half a season in 2021. We're at a 1.08 ERA in 15 starts in 92 innings. This year, a 2.76 ERA, 24 starts, 140 innings. This is honestly about as much I thought the Rangers would let him go this year. I thought maybe 150. If everything really breaks right and the Rangers are making it to a World Series, you add those postseason starts in there, maybe he gets close to 160. But I thought at some point in, July, they would start to shut things down. Just calm them down, at least. Take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a reset, because this is a lot of innings to jump up. I mean, you add in what he's done with the Rangers the last 2 years, you add in 2022, and then I don't think if you add in 2021, I think that would jump him up past what he's done this year. But yeah, 94 and 2/3 innings in 2022 and 2023 combined. You add on what he did in 2024, that's a little bit over 105 innings. He has already surpassed what he's done in the last 3 years combined by 30 innings. By 30 innings. That is a lot. That is not oh, wow, Jacob deGrom, he's broken again. That's what we expected. This is way more than the Rangers possibly expected him to pitch this year. And they have needed every single one of his starts, including the last few where he has just been, the last start out, he was absolutely incredible against the Blue Jays, and the bullpen blew it late because that has been a trend as of late. Those last couple before that, though, some tough starts against the Angels. But for the most part this year, he has been Jacob freaking deGrom. He has been absolutely exceptional, phenomenal, unbelievable. And he's done it while theoretically scaling back his fastball just a little bit, but really that kind of hasn't been the case. I mean, he's kind of been pitching about like Jacob deGrom pitches. Like that's just kind of what he's done this year. He has just been incredible. I mean, the fastball is down like a few ticks in terms of the velocity. I mean, it's averaging what, 98 miles an hour, 97.5 miles an hour this year. So really scaling it back from, 98.5 or so miles an hour that it was last year. But even if Jacob deGrom doesn't pitch again this year, which I'm not saying that's the case. He hasn't even been placed on the IL. I don't know if he's even going to be at this point. But this is one of those things where you look ahead to next year, because while mathematically the Rangers aren't out of it, Baseball Reference very generously gives them a 10.4% chance to make the postseason. I think that's overstating it a little bit. You got to think about next year. You got to think about him, and you've also got to think about Nathan Eovaldi for next year. And you also got to think about a guy who has been really surging as of late for next year in Wyatt Langford. Langford has been quietly having a truly exceptional season. I mean, defensively, he has been Gold Glove caliber out there in left field. I mean, he has been that good for a guy who, I remember Fangraphs a couple of years back said, yeah, at most he's going to be a 30, 40 grade defender on a 20 to 80 scale out there. Maybe he'll be able to find out there. But, he's a 70, 75 grade runner and an incredible athlete, and still has barely played the outfield in his entire baseballing life because he was a catcher heading into college. Yeah, that guy's never going to figure it out defensively. I mean, offensively this year, he has set a new career high with 18 home runs. He's got 51 RBIs, 16 stolen bases. I thought he was on pace for I thought he was going to have a 30-30 season this year, especially where he was heading into the All-Star break. The power has gone down a little bit in the second half. It's kind of picked up the last couple of days. I mean, and the on base has been exceptional for the last, 7, 15, or 30 game stretch. You look at the last 7 games, the OBP is at 438. The last 15, it's at 431. You look at the last 30 games, it's at 368. I mean, the guy has just been getting on base like crazy. In those last 15 games, 14 walks to just 16 strikeouts. He's really had a bit of a problem with the strikeout this year, chasing a whole lot more, taking a lot of called third strikes, and he's still so incredibly young. I mean, the guy has still played so little professional baseball, and right now, after 107 games, he's had a 3.8 Baseball Reference for season, the third most valuable player on this Texas Rangers team, behind only Cory Seager and Nathan freaking Eovaldi. That is how darn good Wyatt Langford has been, and he's even missed a little bit of time with, I believe it was the oblique injury early on in May. I mean, the guy has just been so darn good, and he's played so very little professional baseball. Like, he's been played so little baseball since he graduated high school. I mean, it's been very, very little baseball that he's actually played. I mean, in the minors, he played 50 games in the minors. That includes a couple of rehab games, or excuse me, a trio of rehab games this year. 50 games in the minors. In college, he played 134. In other pro leagues, other summer leagues, he played 43 games. And in the majors, he's played 240 this year, where last year he was incredible. I mean, so many walk-off homers, walk-off hits as well last year in those big moments. I mean, last year he had a 294 batting average, 7 homers, and a 926 OPS with runners in scoring position. And this year it has been, kind of the opposite at this point. He has been a little bit better this year. Actually, nope. He's even those numbers out. Forgive me. I was just going off of what he had done for the first 3 months. But as of late, he has really turned it on. A 276, 278 batting average, a 951 OPS, 5 home runs with runners in scoring position, where last year he had 7. So his OPS is up 26 points with runners in scoring position so far this year. So my apologies. I remember looking at that a couple of months into the season, and I thought that trend was still holding because, your eyes just tell you what you want to see. But nope, Wyatt Langford, apologies, because this man has been just as clutch this year as last year. Just a fewer opportunities for those walk-off hits and walk-off bombs and walk-off grand slams against Yankees closers. I mean, you always love those. I mean, truly so many incredible moments from his first year, and heck, more first year as a big leaguer. Not as many moments this year, but just solid progress in the last month or so of just working better quality at bats. He has had a bit of a sophomore slump, which I did not expect, but overall the numbers are just significantly better this year. And that's something you can watch down the stretch to say, okay, this season may be over. The playoff hopes may be over, but there's still something to look forward to and some hope on the horizon for the 2026 Texas Rangers if this offense can not hit like poop for the first 3 months of the season again. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.